Hi, this is Ron Nutter with another edition of TechBytes with Ron Nutter product reviews. Today we're looking at the LiTag Duo. Actually, it's the LiTag Duo. Dual system tracker, and this works for both iOS and Android. And this is a one-pack item. And 3 things you need to know about this. If you get value from this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. I'd really appreciate it. This is something I just got into recently by accident because I had been looking at the trackers for a while, but it came down to one of 2 options. If you were in the Apple ecosystem, well, you had the Apple tag, and boy, are they proud of those. If you had a name brand one, like, well, we'll pick Samsung, you could use those tags if you had one of their phones. But so if you changed from Android to Apple for some reason, or Android or Apple to Android, you were going to have to rebuy all your trackers because they wouldn't cross-pollinate and couldn't be converted until this one. This one not only will work with both, but, well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Thing number 1, now this is a one-pack item. This is a good way to start if you're new to trackers or need just one device to be active. These can be used on Apple or Android, just not at the same time. So that would make me ask the question, what would it take for it to work on both? Probably a bigger battery and either increasing the size of the electronics package or putting logic in there that could be flipping back and forth between the two. Either one's probably not going to happen. Thing number 2, this will fit any device that is AirTag compatible. And I normally you have to caveat that. I've tried 4 different things right now that were made for the Apple AirTag. And I'll be darned if all 4 of them didn't work. Not just some of them were a little too tight or a little too loose. They were all pretty much dead on in fitting the tag inside the device. Now, when you get one of these in the box, it's going to have the LiTag device in a little holder. You have to take the little, I'm going to call it a clip for lack of a better term, but once you open up the clasp or whatever that holds this all together, remove that out of the way, then the housing will separate into 2 pieces. You have to push the two holes where the little ring thingamabob was in there and twist those away from each other, push them away from each other, then it opens right up. So it's that simple. And I've tried several devices that said they were AirTag only. Guess what? They work just fine. Thing number 3, and this is kind of to me a minus, but not really. The battery comes already active. So unless I guess it's been married to something, it just sits there in a dormant state. It's the nearest thing I can figure. And to me, it's a good idea to note when you put it into service. And that's like a fine point permanent marker. And you'll see by the way the battery fits inside the Milli device as to where you can be able to mark it. And that way you have a backup of when that device was put in service and about how long you can get lifetime out of the battery. Now, the specs say it will be somewhere between 6 to 8 months. I'm guessing that's how often you ping it, or if you put it into lost mode, that probably makes it a little more active. The other thing I would question is the quality of the battery. And what I mean by quality, if it's a name brand, I would expect it to last almost darn near into the next century. That's a little bit sarcasm, but I think you know where I'm going with that. Or if you buy one that's a name you've never heard before and probably won't see again, even when you go to place another order for it, I wouldn't expect as long out of this. So hopefully there's a happy medium in there. So just give them a try. When you are in, now from an Android perspective, because my Apple device is so old, it has a hand crank on it to get it to power up. Again, more sarcasm. When you're in the Google Hub app, for what they're calling it now, it will just give you a rough display. When I say rough, it has 4 bars. That's it, buddy. 4 bars. So it's when I would periodically check each device, make sure that it is, verify the date. Now, should you have to repair the device? Wouldn't think so, but I wouldn't leave the battery out that long. and then but do one, see how it acts, because depending on when yours was made and what the firmware was that they put into this thing, you may have to repair it, but I wouldn't expect that to happen. There is, like I said, there is an indication in the Google, it used to be called Find My Device, now it's called Google Hub, and watch that very closely. If it gets past 2 bars, I'd start watching it. If it gets down to 1 bar, I'd be replacing that battery real quick. So this is something to think about. I haven't found, like I said, an AirTag compatible holder that this won't fit into. So read what manual comes with it and get comfortable with it. So take a look at this one and think about getting one to try. If you need to scale up, there is a 4-pack version of this, and just it will grow with you as going. And the nice thing is, if you were to change from Android to Apple or Apple to Android, you don't have to buy all new AirTags. You just have to reassociate every one of them. So that's something to be said for picking a platform and staying with it. But again, you see where this is going. If you get value from this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.